Oh, this is heavy.
Well, Hayden, thanks for coming to hang, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I hear through the grapevine that you just got back from Alaska.
Yeah, I got back, so we went 9th through the 19th.
Was that just like a vacation or something?
So there's like a reason as to why we went. It was a vacation, yeah, for sure. But there was like, because we were planning to go, my family wanted to go to England and Ireland
Oh, yeah.
last year. And then the pandemic happened. So that kind of, cut things down. The reason that we're going to Alaska is, so October of, I want to say it was, around Halloween of last year, so my grandfather passed away. And so my grandparents have always been like really big on traveling. Like it was one of the, like my grandfather's dreams to travel to all 50 states. I think the only states he'd never been to was Hawaii and Alaska. They'd been to every other state, and they would like travel for months at a time.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you would do, but in like an old motorhome. Talking like they would travel in like the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah. The shag wagon.
Retro RV or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like old pictures of them traveling and such. So like when we passed away, he never kind of achieved his dream. He was never to go to Alaska, and you think about it, and it's really far away.
Is this your mom's dad or your dad's dad?
My dad's dad?
Okay.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, I guess you can't just drive a van to Alaska.
one of my coworkers asked me that. He's like, "Y'all driving to Alaska?" And I was like, and I actually looked it up, and I was like, it's like a 24-hour drive if you never stop.
You could.
You could, yeah, you could, but we're not doing that. So we flew out there, and so it was really for my grandfather's like memory to kind of like fly out there and for him.
So
and
family vacation,
but has a little bit more of just like a meaning to it than just like, hey, we're going on vacation because we don't want to work for a while and we need it.
Right.
So, but we flew out there for just over a week. Yeah. So the 9th through the 19th, and kind of flew to, I need to tell you guys about how I almost threw hands with a TSA member.
Let's go. Let's go.
Serious?
Yeah.
For what?
For being
In Birmingham or when you landed?
This was so.
Or where do you fly out of to go to Alaska?
So we drove to Atlanta.
Okay.
Then we flew from Atlanta to Chicago O'Hare Airport, and then we flew from there to Fairbanks, Alaska. Which the Atlanta flight wasn't that bad. It was like 3 or 4 hours. Me and my sister were right behind first class, so we had like all the leg room. Ooh. We weren't in first class, but we had all the leg room, so it wasn't that bad. And then the flight from O'Hare to Fairbanks was a nightmare.
How long is that flight?
That was like 7 hours. It was 7 hours, but like the whole time I took like something to help me sleep, which didn't help me sleep. It just made me like
paranoid.
Made me high. I was like, dude, what's going on, man? Don't look out the window.
That's why the TSA is all over you. It's like, this guy ain't right.
Is the TSA, if you ever like had any experience with the TSA, then you know that they're just like they're
the worst.
Their patience is they don't give a shit. This is the truth, which is the TSA in Anchorage, because we flew back from Anchorage. TSA in Anchorage and Seattle airports were super chill. They were just like, come on, let's just do it. No worries. We're going to check everything. But the TSA in Atlanta and Chicago were like, they had no patience. They were just like, come the hell on, man.
Well, they're like the hub, aren't they? So
those are big airports.
They see so
Chicago
many people.
O'Hare is giant.
Well, they also have like different demographics too.
Yeah, it's very true.
Like Chicago and Atlanta.
You check my fucking bags. Come on.
It's completely different than Seattle.
The Seattle airport's also very, very big too. When we flew into Seattle, we flew into like the very like last gate, and then we had to walk to the gate on the other side of the airport to get our flight to Atlanta. It was like a long walk. We thought we were going to miss our flight.
Well, the one in Texas has a tram. You have to like get on a tram to go around the airport.
Is it the Dallas one or the Houston one?
The Dallas one.
Yeah, Dallas.
God, dude.
Yeah, it was wild.
It's fun though when you don't have to like actually like rush to your gate.
Yeah.
You get like.
Dude, speaking of that, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, so my mom has like a bad hip, so she can't really like carry too much luggage. She had hip surgery, so the entire time we're walking, we're having to like keep up with her, make sure I'm not leaving her behind. So I'm having to manage. Like, come on, Mom. No. I'm having to manage my luggage and her luggage to go through TSA. All the while, TSA is like hounding us, like, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
And so, like, as I get my luggage onto the thing to get checked, like through the little like X-rays, the dude's like, through like the metal detectors, he's like, all right, come on, come on. And so I'm like, cool, I just walk through it. It's not the ones you walk through, it's the ones you stand and it scans you and you hold your hands
hold
up.
your hands up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't obvious to me. I wasn't paying attention to that clearly.
Bust right through it.
But I walk through and something sets it off. I think I have like a zipper. My zipper like sets it off. It's the smallest things that do that. And he's like, whoa, 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 where the hell you think you're going, man? And I was like, what's wrong? He's like, get back in there. I was like, okay, I do that. He's like, and I go and nothing's wrong. And he's like, well, you ever been to an airport before, man? This is the first time you're like ever like flying. It's the first time you're like coming out of your house or something like that, man. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, I'm trying to get my shit and go, man. Like,
Yeah.
just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And if I didn't think because I mean, I think TSA could probably make us miss our flight or do something to where we wouldn't be able to leave.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't think, I would have probably like said something a lot worse. I'd have been like, hey, man,
Yeah.
and like all the while trying to help my mom get through. And so my patience was just like, his patience was 0, my patience was 0. But I'm just like, I even told my dad, I was like,
Asshole.
It's like we were all stressed because you talk about catching a flight. Our flight from Atlanta to Chicago, they originally changed our flight to an earlier one, a flight that was 2 hours earlier. So we had to rush as they were calling last call. You ever run to airplane before?
Yeah.
They were like, hey, 30 seconds before we close the doors. And we were like,
Oh my God. Oh my God.
we weren't even in like the bay to get in. And so we were running all the while. And so it's the actual traveling part always stresses us out. But once you get there, it's like, ooh, yes,
Oh, yeah.
It's always,
Once you're in, you're in.
yeah.
Then you sit next to a really fat dude.
I sat next to my family the entire time, and none of us
Well,
are
that's
all
you got
that
a good
fat.
experience. Every time I go to New York or Cali, I'm the biggest dude is right next to me.
I've never had that experience, but I mean, hey, they need to make seats for like big folks. That's kind of like,
Called first class.
I'm gonna fly first class for Lane Bryant or something. Like it's gonna be like a
dude, it like
big
see when you
fucking-
pass first class, it's like, and you see what you're sitting in. If you've ever flown first class, I don't know.
Oh, it's like 4 seats to every one of their seats. It's like
Yeah,
giant. I
Yeah,
mean, that's an
you
exaggeration.
you have like a
but-
big recliner. You have like a big screen in front of you, and you're just
I pay
Is it
extra
wor-
for the oversized
And an
flights.
ego comes with a massive ego.
yeah.
Fly first class.
Yeah, screw that. We'll take our normal flights,
Fats.
whatever.
So Alaska, it's summertime there, right? Does that
Mhm.
mean it's like 24 hours of daylight or longer days? Or
Oh,
whatever?
yeah. What's that like?
Yeah, and also the weather. So we flew in. I want to say what time we got there was like 8 or 9 at night at Fairbanks time, and so we flew in, and the weather was like. So we flew in from like July here versus July there, where it was like 100% humidity, 95 degrees, muggy as hell. Fly in there, of course, no humidity. The weather's like how our weather is in like March or April. So it's not super cold, but not super hot at all. So it kind of feels like spring there.
Yeah.
And it's just like the sun is nowhere close to setting. The sun doesn't set until like 12:30, and
Oh, wow.
even when it sets, it's still not completely dark.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like it never goes fully behind the horizon. Like it.
And then like it sets at like 12:30. We look at our phones, and then it would like rise again at 2:33 in the morning.
Yeah, it just like dips down and comes up.
So when we were sleeping, it was like we went to go to bed at like 1 a.m, and it wasn't even fully dark out. It just feels like you're sleeping, like you're taking a nap during
nap,
the daytime. Yeah. So that was kind of hard to adjust to. Although we stayed at a lot of Airbnbs, and those had like blackout curtains, so it made it a little bit easier. But we were in the drive-through our first night in Fairbanks to get Arby's, which we waited an hour for Arby's.
What?
But we were trapped in line, so we kind of stuck it out. Yeah, it sucked.
I really want some sliders right now.
Arby's
Oh,
of all
It was
places.
well, it was the only place that was open, I think, too, and it was like immediate regret when we pulled in because it was one of those like Taco Bell drive-throughs, I guess, where you can only pull in but you can't like
Yeah, you
pull
can't
away.
get out.
Trapped. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like if you get that far, it's like I might as well just get my food.
So it's like an hour-long Taco Bell drive-through.
Yeah, but I mean, I would prefer Taco Bell to Arby's. Just saying.
Sure.
Where was I going with this?
I don't know.
Oh, I got a question actually. So in this photo,
Yes.
what time of day is it? Like
That
what,
was-
what like
That was early morning, I want to say. Okay, so for that one, no, that had to have been That about midday, yeah, for sure. Because that we did an ATV tour up to the mountains for that one, which we got like these big. I wish I had a picture of it. My dad has a picture. I probably could send you guys one. We took an ATV tour through the mountains, which was like 16 miles there, 16 miles back, and they say sometimes there's Drake. That's just funny. I know I have a few pictures of Alaska, but that picture of Drake just cracks me up.
Just a random picture. Okay.
And we drove up to the mountains and then back, and then like it's also we decided to do it like a good time of year because there's no like it's not muddy and it's not snowy. It's just like dry dirt in these ATVs, but it's super bumpy. I mean, like, and we also drove like through the woods at one point, through like where they cut down trees for us to drive over them.
Yeah.
Super fun, but like I was anxious as hell the entire time getting on these ATVs, and it's not like four wheelers. It's like the kind of like two passengers can sit, and there's like a roof over it.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Yeah, I can show you guys later.
It's like a
Oversized
buggy.
go-kart.
Yeah, kind of like a buggy. Yeah, and we did that 16 miles there, 16 miles back, and they would always, when you go to like the place that they have it, they always recommend. They're like, just like, do you want goggles? And we're like, no, we don't need goggles. They're like, do you want do you want goggles? You'll need them. I was like, sure.
Intense.
Is there a windshield on these things, or is it just open?
No, there's no windshield.
Okay, yeah.
And at some point we got up to the higher part of the mountains, and I'm glad I got like goggles and like protective gear, because when we stepped out in part of the trail and you barely tap the ground, and like a giant like cloud of dirt and dust just comes up, and that's how dusty it is.
It's
up
so
there.
dry up there.
Yeah. And it's out there on like the tundra and everything too. We actually stepped out onto the tundra, and if you ever stepped out on there, it's like there's like, he told like the guy that one of our tour managers, there's like 2 feet of moss before there is like actual solid ground. So you step on it and it's like super soft. It's like stepping onto a bed. It's so
That's
crazy. Yeah, something like that.
Like that right there.
Yeah. So there's like moisture out there, but yeah. I also asked him.
Did you see any moose?
Dude, I was hoping I saw a moose. I did ask the tour guy, one of our tour guys or guys that was helping us with the ATV thing. I was like, so you guys ever see like any UFOs out here? You guys ever
What
see,
about the
or you guys ever see Bigfoot?
what about the like the northern lights and stuff? Is
I
that in
think,
Alaska?
That is Alaska, yeah.
You didn't see that?
No, I think we just missed like the peak time to see them because my
That
friend.
is a trip, dude. Golly, that's crazy.
I think our friend Brent, he went like a month before me randomly, like a guy I talked to like pretty regularly. He went just to go hiking up there, and I was like, what are the odds that like out of all the places we could meet that we know each other, it's Alaska to see the Northern Lights?
That's pretty
but
wild.
he went like a month before we did. I think he saw him, but we missed like the time frame for the peak time
man,
to see him.
bummer.
It would have been incredible,
It
but
been like
epic.
a love story.
really.
Yeah, like.
For me,
the only time we ever meet was at the Northern Lights
For me,
in Alaska.
for me and Brent. No.
And then you just have your family right behind you, and you're just like, okay, this is.
Yeah, well,
So you guys, the whole plan for going, you guys are staying at these different Airbnbs and just doing like ATV tours, and you said you had a tour guide at one point, and
I mean, so
y'all just have different things planned out to do through this.
the kind of
week
thing that we did was we flew into Fairbanks, got a rental car. The Airbnbs we stayed at were pretty nice. I think there's only one night we didn't stay at an Airbnb, and it was like in Healy, very, very small town, just kind of through the mountains. We stayed at like a motel, and the motel was like very, very old. You could tell this motel was from like the 50s or like the 40s or something. It's very, very old. And they kind of like refurbished it. But we got like a rental car, and our idea was that we were going to take from Fairbanks, drive down to Anchorage. And we even went further south to Seward for like a glacier tour. So we like
that'd be
went on a
rad.
boat. I can like tell you guys about that later. And we would like stop. So I drove in Alaska for like a long time, and they have interstates there. But when it comes to getting to city, it's all just one back road
Whoa.
that goes from miles and miles and miles. And you will drive for like a mile and think you're getting close to this mountain. You're like, we're going to be at that mountain in like 2 minutes. And you drive for an hour and like, still not close to that
It
mountain.
just keeps getting
But
farther and farther away.
it was like mountain ranges forever. And at one point we were driving through like, it wasn't like what people had told us when like our tour guides that we missed the week before us was nothing but rain. And we missed that. And it's like, if you had come like a week earlier, it would have just poured on you guys the entire time. So we were kind of thankful that we didn't get
So it's
rained
like
on too bad.
Anytime we ever go to the beach, Every time we go to the beach, it rains. So at least the one time you go to a place that really matters, not PCB,
Yeah.
at least it doesn't rain.
Oh man, I'm not a,
Because our luck, if like me, you, and Zach went on
Yeah.
like a vacation, it would rain the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
screw that.
Happens every year.
Just stay in the hotel and just drink and be like, well, the beach looks nice. It's raining though.
Yeah, it's just like that over at our building. Like we just
yeah.
finally got all the gravel and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
Hasn't rained one damn day.
Yeah.
But when it does, dude, when it does, you're gonna be like, bring it, Mother Nature.
When it rains,
We'll never know. They said they fixed it, but we can't prove it.
yeah.
So we don't know.
But every time I've seen you guys working there and it rains, I'm like, that stresses me out, and I've never even been there. I'm like, you guys have put so much work in,
Yeah.
and
Dude,
I never
epic.
see you anywhere else. And then you're like, it's flooding. Get the.
Yeah. No, it was a
And you said like, how often are you guys like working there?
every day.
How many hours a day?
From 9 a.m. to about midnight.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that sounds about right. When I see like pictures and videos of you guys working there,
Yeah, Zach actually just moved like for real, like moved in. Like he lives at the studio.
Okay,
now.
moved in. Like I parked my
I was
van.
gonna ask
I parked
that.
my van there. So
Oh.
like I'm just outside.
I was gonna ask.
But you sleep inside in the van.
He lives there
I
basically.
live there, yeah.
Dude, yeah, I
Okay,
said that the
fair
other
enough.
day when I came to the shop.
I was basically
like,
gonna like ask that. I was gonna be like, so you live there now, kind of. I didn't know if you still had your van.
Yeah.
why get an apartment? You're good.
Yeah. Well, really, because we have a big event coming up, and like we have to get the building done. Like, there's no ifs, and, or buts. Like, we have to get it done.
Yeah.
And we've been stuck waiting on everybody else just to show up and do their job, contractors and just the landlord to do that. So, waiting on them to so the flooding issue.
Yeah.
There's like our entire white wall we wanted to build out,
Yeah.
but we didn't want it to get ruined by all the water.
Mhm.
So that was stuck, until they fixed the flooding. So supposedly
Yeah.
they fixed it, but we haven't had rain to chance it.
Right. So that's kind of like stunted.
So we were just
Progress,
like,
for
fuck it,
real.
we're just gonna start building and hope it doesn't flood.
I think you're good, man. I mean, the parking lot looks great now compared to what it used to.
So yeah,
I was talking to Drew, the guy that was tattooing me, because I mentioned that that Tim had and I said like, hey, so Tim recommended you to me. He's like, who? And I was like, Carlisle Jones
Oh,
recommended
wow.
you, and he's like, oh yeah, man, I know him. And so yeah.
Isn't it crazy that name is now more common than my real name?
Well, I said
Yeah.
Tim, and he goes, who? And I said, CJ, and he goes, Carlisle Jones. Oh, okay.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I want to go by there really bad, but every time I see videos, I'm like, y'all putting people to work. I'm not going by there.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, hey man, welcome to the studio, and I get to work.
But it's all supportive. It's
Yeah,
not
no,
like,
I understand.
hey, pick up. It's like people show up, come through to help us with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because people want to be it's become more of an experience for people.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, hey man, come to my house. Hey, while you're here, can you sweep the floor real quick?
Yeah.
Whereas at a
Yeah.
at a studio, it's like, oh, I'm helping a studio,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
helping you do chores.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different.
I mean, that was kind of a
experience.
joke. Like, if you guys asked me to come help out, I would for sure.
Yeah,
but
you picked a good day. Thanks for coming to the podcast.
yeah, but like I said, anyways, what were we talking about?
Well, I was going to ask if you saw. You said you did not. You
Did
did,
not
or did
s-
not see a moose.
We saw wildlife on the
What wildlife did you see?
glacier tour, but we didn't see any. I was hoping we'd see like moose
Or a bear? or something?
bears, dude. I was hoping.
Oh,
we
that'd be
saw-
so rad.
dude. The wildlife the first thing that we saw that I was like, that doesn't look right, were crows. Crows in Alaska are enormous. They're like the size of dogs, dude.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Like
They're-
the size of like a buzzard. or
Like
something.
yeah, like yeah,
vulture.
not even playing. They were that big, and I remember when one like flew next to our car, we were parked taking pictures, and I was like, "There's no way that's a crow." And I looked at it and like, that's a freaking crow, dude. It was like as big as my freaking torso.
Dang.
Wildlife out there is gnarly.
Epic crows.
But the wildlife we saw on the glacier tour, so our last night staying was in Anchorage, but then I think 2 hours south of Anchorage is Seward. So we drove to Seward, and then we got our glacier tour, which we were just able to get. I want to say we tried to book it and we couldn't find any, but we were somehow, I think my sister was somehow able to find that one that we booked. And it was I didn't realize how long it was going to be. We were out on sea for.
How do you tour a glacier? You're out on a boat?
Yeah, you're out on a boat,
Okay.
and they will take you out into the sea to where like the glacier is out there, where like all the wildlife and basically into like the ocean, which is really gnarly. We saw whales, saw humpback whales.
Oh, that'd be sick.
We saw
That's
killer
awesome.
whales.
Dang.
These I don't know what they're called, but they're like these dolphin-like fish that I can't remember.
Dolphin-like fish. Okay.
I don't remember their names, but they were
dolphin?
like
It's not like a beluga whale, like a white. the
no,
white
no.
thing.
It's like
Okay.
looks like a dolphin, but it's not, and it's like a smaller version
It's not
of
a narwhal, is it?
Dude, I
With the big
wish.
horn thing.
that
Oh,
would
man.
scare me. Like
Those
narwhals,
things are. Those are a trip,
Those
dude.
13.
those things are cool, but like I've always thought they were like they
They're
look
like
like
aliens.
Aliens,
Dude,
yeah. Like
yeah.
that horn doesn't make sense for
Like-
it's not even like that makes no sense. Anyways,
Yeah.
we saw sea lions, and we saw otters, and like we saw otters like
Otters
just-
are cool. I like
So and like otters out there are also even bigger. It's crazy. So the closer we got to the glacier, and I can like show y'all pictures later of the glacier, there was like hunks of ice, of course, like floating in the water, and on the hunks of ice would be like sea lions and otters laying on that, and they'd be like, "Well, why are they laying on the ice as opposed to being in the water? The water is much colder than the ice laying on top of the water, so
Well,
to stay a little bit warmer, they do
Probably
that."
something in the water trying to kill them too.
Not really. I don't think they have that many predators out there, and usually the otters stay closer to land as opposed to like the sea lions maybe stay out further to sea.
So does this look like something you're?
That's what
okay.
we would go out there and do.
Got a
yeah.
question. Did you spend $2,269?
That is
per person?
that is private information, Tim.
So that's a yes.
So that's a yes. That's an expensive tour.
Yeah, well,
Still,
it
man,
probably
that's
was.
like-
That wasn't
I mean,
like
how often
anything
you
that
get
we
to
would.
do that?
I don't think that was the one that we did, but I mean, like that whole thing was we were out there for like 7 hours, but they provided like food and all kinds of stuff out there for us. It wasn't just like, hey, we're taking you on a boat, taking you back. That's it. No, it was like the guy that was
It's
giving
like a
us-
whole thing.
Yeah, it was a whole like, excursion, like really cool. And we at one point, it's crazy because like you don't realize how massive that glacier is until you're looking at it, and you can if you look at it really hard. I'm glad we had sunglasses on because it was so like the sun reflecting.
Oh,
off
yeah,
of
I
it.
didn't think about that.
So bright, dude.
Yeah.
I remember when I took my sunglasses off, and I was no, I'm putting them back on. It's so bright.
It's crazy.
There's like waterfalls, like streams, hunks of it falling off constantly. And if you really look at it, you'll see like all kinds of small waterfalls falling off of it. And there's one big one off to the
the whole
side
thing's
too.
just melting.
Yeah, this whole thing is just melting. Our tour guide had been doing that tour for like 30 years. And at one point we're out to sea. And so like we're out to sea right here. The glacier is right here. And he was like, at one point the glacier was right where we are at. So he had told us how much
Just
the
in
glacier
his
had.
lifetime, he saw it shrink that much. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And it was like, ooh, man, not to get into like global warming, but like that was like a
It's real.
hit to the chest there, man.
Well, dude, I've seen guys that it's like you said chunks falling off.
Mm-hmm.
There's dudes that actually try to catch the waves from the pieces that fall. in
No,
the
where's
water.
that? No way.
I swear, dude. I don't know if
I
it's
mean, I
like
believe it.
a popular sport, but there's these guys that they're like epic wave surfers and just trying to catch the most rare waves.
Break.
God, that's I
But,
can't even imagine.
Imagine
But-
being cold as hell waiting for a glacier.
We
to break.
saw people kayaking out there, dude.
That'd be
It
cool.
took us. Yeah, it was cool, but like,
I wouldn't want to fall in the water.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my thing. Is that like I saw right before we went out there, I saw a video of people kayaking, and maybe like half a mile away from where they were kayaking in the water, like just a giant like whale just comes up and like blows
Yeah.
like water, and like no, that would freak me out. So
Did you
that-
hear about that dude? I don't know where he was, off the coast of California, maybe. He was out kayaking and accidentally swallowed by a whale. And he was like in the
No.
whale's mouth. This happened like recently.
Holy crap!
Because I always saw dudes kayaking next to whales breaching and stuff. And I'm like, how does more people not get like just smacked?
How do people just not fear the ocean like that?
But this whale came up, eating like
Yeah.
shrimp or whatever.
Krill and stuff,
Krill, yeah.
That is a
and,
nightmare.
Swallowed
Yeah.
it. I swear, man.
If you don't know how scary the ocean is, people will do that.
Did he get out?
Yeah, he got out. He lived.
Yeah.
Like the
I saw
whale
it
wasn't
too. I
trying
saw
to
it
eat
too.
him. Yeah, did you see that?
Was he wearing a GoPro when it happened?
I don't think so. I think he just
It would
lived
just
to
be
tell the
dark.
tale.
Still though,
That's like the
be amazing.
biblical like Jonah.
Yeah,
Just
I
Yeah,
was
hey,
thinking
swallowed
the
by
hey,
the
same
whale.
thing.
YouTube, I don't know where I'm at right now.
Was it Mr. Beast?
Yeah, if he was live streaming it.
I got swallowed by a
whale.
Wait, so is there footage of him being swallowed?
No. I mean, it was just an article.
wish.
So he just said it.
I guess there were witnesses.
I've ridden a moose before.
Okay.
The Earth's
Yeah.
flat.
The Earth's flat. Moose
We
ride.
live inside it.
This happened. This really happened.
On that tour, I made my sister laugh really, really hard. But I think the guy that heard me say this thought I was serious. So we're out on the ocean and just seeing for miles and miles and miles. I turned to my sister and was like, I don't know how to tell y'all this. Earth is flat. And the guy behind her looked at me like, what?
You're in Alaska.
You can't tell when people are kidding about that nowadays. There's people that
Yeah,
believe
well, I
it.
mean, global warming doesn't exist either, and you're like in the middle of a glacier
Yeah.
tour.
That's melting right in front of you. Did y'all didn't do any kind of like airplane or helicopter tours or anything, did you?
We saw a lot of these small engine airplanes everywhere. And I would have loved to have done that. That's the only thing I think that we didn't do that I would have loved to do, even though I think I would have probably had to do it by myself or me and my dad, because my mom and my sister said there's no way they would ever do that.
That's scary, man. You
and
get
they
like
were-
in one of those small single engine
Yeah.
planes, man. It's
Yeah.
like
And we actually, when we went to Anchorage, we did like a city tour of Anchorage as well, and we drove by it's either the biggest one in America or the biggest one in maybe the world. It's the small engine airplane airport, and it's just all like 300 to 400, just as far as the eye can see, just like small engine like airplanes. And the waiting list to get a spot at that for your airplane is like 15 years.
Oh my
if
god!
if you're an aviator and
Yeah.
wanna,
Yeah.
dude, that's
Jeez.
crazy.
Like a Tesla wait list.
And they had like spots on the water for like the sea ones, and we saw them everywhere, man. And like only thing I think of is that like if nothing else, I would have loved to have done that.
That would have been rad.
Yeah, but we didn't do that because I don't
It's
think
probably
like,
expensive, I would imagine, too.
I'm sure it's expensive, but the only thing I think of is just like it would be like a fear to overcome for me. Because
Yeah.
like getting on a plane is one thing and seeing it out of a plane, but you're like that close and it's so small and so cramped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be cool though. Like I said, we saw those everywhere, man.
that's cool.
So
You could have JoJo posed
mhm.
off of the helicopter. That'd been dope.
I wish, man. I had to do that for Brent because he did the same thing. I did a stupid pose in Alaska that, like, I told my friend Brent that I was gonna do. He did the same thing. So, Are you
So after the glacier tour, you do anything else cool?
trying to think. I think that was the last thing. And you
Post
could-
for this photo right here.
yeah,
Anybody that's listening to this episode, you'll have to watch to see the photos we're talking
yeah.
about.
And then switch over to the next one. Look at those shoes, man. Switch over to the next one. That's the pose I was doing. That guy. Yeah. He's from a manga that I really like. So
Very cool, Hayden.
Uncanny.
very cool, Hayden. Very nerdy. I should have brought y'all like a manga now that I think about it.
Dude, bring something to put on the wall. It'd be cool.
I don't know what I would have brought. I have I do now actually.
You
I'm
didn't get any
stupid.
souvenirs?
I'm stupid. There's a tiny. Shut up, Tim. I found a very tiny volume of manga that's like this big, and I don't know why they would ever print those that big. Because when I opened it,
it's a little baby manga.
it's like, you ever see those really tiny Bibles? They're like this big.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like the same thing. I could have brought that. It's called Samurai Executioner. It's an old like samurai manga. That'd have been cool.
Oh,
to
that'd
go
be cool,
here.
man. That'd be
Yeah.
fun. It'd bring it to us. That'd be rad.
Yeah, for sure. But I think for the most part, that was the last thing that we did. That was like our last day, and then we flew out from Anchorage to Seattle, then Seattle back to Atlanta, and then came home.
How's the food?
The food, okay. So the sushi places everywhere, because I mean there's like
Ton of seafood and stuff.
Ton
I
of
guess.
seafood.
Okay.
I need to tell you about like so on every corner of every road out there was like a small, maybe like the size of like this right here, like a small shack, and it would be people with like a window that cars would drive up to. I've never seen this before, of just like independent like coffee sellers. So like, and I can justify this more in like Fairbanks, where like Fairbanks there's a lot of people there, but everything is so stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would drive like 15 minutes just to get from one building to the next. Like it's so stretched out.
Okay.
And so I imagine like people, if they're on their way to work, they're like, I don't want to drive 15 minutes to such and such to get this coffee at this place, whatever. But there's one on the corner of my actual street, and they had them on every corner of every street, just small independent like coffee shops for people just like they drive up, boom, get it and go
Wow.
everywhere. I've never seen that before, but it makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure people make a lot of money off that.
There's a place down on 280 that's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have an indoor cafe, if I'm saying this correctly, and it's just like a drive-through.
Yeah.
That's the only one I've ever seen.
I saw that
Yeah,
place.
the one by Lowe's.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know the name of it.
Those were
This
everywhere.
is just called like Coffee Bean or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
And those were really cool to see. Those were everywhere. Sushi places were everywhere. A lot of just Asian cuisine out there. I had sushi probably like 4 nights that we stayed there, and it was so good every time. There's like dispensaries everywhere because weed is legal in Alaska. So
Oh, I
those
didn't
were
think
like
about
so there's like there would be like a coffee shop right here and the sushi place, and then like the dispensary like right next to it. Everywhere there was those outnumbered everything, dude. And then like
Dispensaries.
yeah, have you guys ever been to? Of course, I was like new to my parents, so that like and me because like never been anywhere where weed is legal. I don't think, and so you kind of smell it everywhere because like they just don't care. But that didn't bother me. But have you guys ever been to like a Fred Meyer before?
What is it?
Fred Meyer. It is a place that it kind of like saved the day for us in a lot of ways. It's a grocery store,
Oh, okay.
but it's like a supermarket that think like the best aspects of like all the supermarkets you think of, like Walmart, yes, like something like that.
So-
That's not with Fred Meyer. Those little like shacks like that.
Yeah, I showed 3 of them.
yeah,
like that.
very very similar to those. I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, very like
Just all over the place.
those were everywhere. Every corner
That's
had
crazy.
those, man.
That's cool.
And we never hit one because we were like trying to get to where we were going the whole time, and but also because we like stocked up on the groceries at Fred Meyer. So think of like you got your Walmart, your Target, Publix, and like think of the best aspects of those in terms of like food and like shopping, and put it into Fred Meyer, but make it bigger and have like a really good deli. Have like just like
So is this like a massive supercenter type store?
like store,
Big
and it
box
really
store.
saved the day for us in a lot of ways because I'd never heard of it before, and I looked it
I've
up.
never heard of it.
It's only Pacific Northwest places. And I think like California as well, and then it's like in Canada and Alaska.
What is it called again? I'm gonna look it up.
Fred Meyer,
Fred Meyer.
yeah.
Just like a grocery chain. They may have those out in Sacramento. I think
And
when I went and visited my friend
We went
there.
to like every big major city we went to, besides I think like Healy's not a major city, but we went to those every time we went to a major city to get like snacks and stuff. Yeah, and it's awesome, man. They have like really good sushi there too. I had like I said I got sushi from there, but I had like sushi at other places too. They also have like really good clothes. Like they actually sell like designer stuff as well. I not necessarily designer, like brand stuff.
We
Like
get some milk and some Levi's.
dude,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a giant Levi's section. They had a giant Carhartt section. They had a giant like Adidas section and a giant like Champion section for like clothing and stuff. And I'm like, when do you see Adidas at like
A grocery store.
at a and like they had more Carhartt stuff than like like Bass Pro, which is crazy. Yeah, this is crazy. I got me a Carhartt shirt when I was in Alaska.
Well, it's Alaska. I guess it's more rugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they.
I mean, and everybody up there is most everybody up there is blue collar. Everybody up there is covered in tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In a lot of ways, Alaska to me feels like the South, but way more chill. Just how people are very friendly, way more chill how people are up there. And just the like rednecks have like more like traditional tattoos. But I was telling people at work, is like I would consider moving there if I could deal with the cold when in the winter seasons.
Dude, I bet it's epically cold.
One of the guys that was our tour guide, the guy that took us out on the tundra, he said the coldest it ever been for him up there was like -40.
-40, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
He
I don't
said-
even know. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine that.
Yeah, he said something to that degree, and that he said that was when he was in the army.
It's like you can't even go outside. Like,
No, he said stationed there. So get this, he said it was when he was in the army. He was there for a while, and then he got a flight to be stationed out in Africa. So he went from -40,
where it's like 110 every day.
140.
He said it was like 128 degrees in the place in Africa he went. So he was like went from freezing cold, and he's like my body almost shut down completely.
Dude.
So it's
Like,
the guy throwing the
So
boiling
yeah,
water.
so that's water midair at -30, and it freezes immediately.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Like I said, if I could, I would definitely consider living there because like the entire time, I just never got tired of I've thought about it every single day since I've been back. I'm like, dude, I already miss Alaska. It was great. Like everything there was so cool. And
Epic scenery and stuff.
Have you guys?
Is it expensive to live there? Like, what's the
I
cost of
think
living
it's
in Alaska?
expensive. I think it is
I can
expensive.
imagine.
Yeah, but somebody
Like
told me-
groceries are like
Yeah, that's
you know,
where they
some
get
places
you.
where you
There's
have
no
to ship stuff.
There's no state tax there either. So
Oh, okay.
because
So maybe it's not as bad.
because I bought my Carhartt shirt that was $19.99.
You
And
paid
I was-
$19.99.
and I handed her a $20 bill, or she said it was $19.99 exactly, and I was like, it's like there's no tax. She's like, no, we don't have state tax. Handed her a $20 bill and get this 1 cent back, and I was
penny
like,
back.
I was expecting to pay with my card because I was like $2 or $3 for tax or whatever, and so that was kind of cool. But I've heard they pay you to live in Alaska because of like the oil there, something like that. Yeah, I've heard that, which I was like, I don't know how much they pay you, but like I
Yeah.
said, if I could deal with the cold, I'd live there.
I was gonna say on this statistic that's on the thing, it says that Alaska is way more expensive to live in than the United States, just based on like house costs, utilities, transportation. Well, transportation it says cheaper, but
Median house cost in Alaska is $310,000. That's a lot.
That is a lot. I get you a nice lake house here.
Yeah.
You get you a shack in the wood with some moose.
I think I'll stay here.
You didn't see any bears, man?
Dude, I wish I saw bears. Like I said, I'm trying to think of the other
you didn't
wildlife.
take a bear tour? There's probably people that are like, oh, I'll show you some bears.
I'll send you all the TikTok I saw later where like the small engine airplanes that people get tours on, we saw people like as we were flying into certain places and as we were driving through Alaska, we see like mountain ranges, but we see people like hiking very far in the distance on these mountains. And you can get those plane tours. They'll fly you out to like very remote sections of Alaska, and you'll do like hiking tours, but you'll have somebody with you the entire
they'll
time.
drop you into the bears.
I'm getting
Good
into
luck.
that. I'm getting into that. These people are on a tour, and as they're on the trail, a bear walks up on them, and you're not prepared for how big the bear is. And like he walks up on them, kind of looks at him, walks the other direction.
I saw that video.
Yeah, do you see it? It's on
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah.
And I said, I
Thing
was
is
showing
massive.
I was showing my coworkers. I should have told them that. I should have told them I saw it, but
This is my video. Yeah.
if I had seen that, dude, that'd have shaved like 20 years off my life.
Dude,
Screw that.
Was it like a grizzly or what was it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big brown
I
grizzly.
think it was a big brown bear. Yeah, I don't know if it was a grizzly. I'm not. I can't really tell. A bear's a bear. As far
bear's
as
a
I'm
bear,
concerned.
Black
baby.
bear. brown
Well,
bear.
you
Bear's a
come
bear.
across it. A bear's a bear, man.
Yeah.
And when we went to
Snake's a snake, bear's a bear.
we went to Healy, and we went to like the rest stop that had like all like the attractions for Healy. Of course, I think Healy is very very small in like population. Somebody told me Healy has a population of less than 1,000. Very very small. So it's like kind of like a place people pass through. They had signs for hikers that would tell you what to do in case of wildlife, and like all of them contradicted each other. So I think for like a moose, it was like run, stay calm, but run. And for a bear, it was like don't run, stay calm.
Stay. Run.
And same
Imagine
thing for
you're
like,
getting mauled by a bear and you're like, "Where's the sign? Like, I need to read it."
Yeah.
Like,
but for people who don't know, I guess if they're going hiking out there, and like I said, we were driving to Seward, and as we were getting closer to Seward, it was getting colder. But as we were driving, we saw people like, there was like where like water had been, but it was like the dried up mud out there. Like it had to have been like 3 or 4 miles out. People were walking on that over like it is crazy. And then we see people like hiking up mountains just like a mile away from us up this mountain. Like, nah, dude, I'll go see the sights, but as far as that seems like too much work. I'd maybe want to do that in the future, but like I said, I think the traveling kind of just took it out of us sometimes. So we were able to see the sights, do cool stuff, but didn't do any actual like hiking.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people go out there to do that. Have you guys ever seen the movie Into the Wild?
Yeah. Classic.
So I'd never actually seen that movie until we were in Alaska.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a cool place to watch
That
it for
is
the first
pretty
time.
rad.
In our Airbnb, one of our Airbnbs in, what was it? Oh my gosh, it wasn't Healy, but it was the one next to Healy. But we were at Airbnb, and this was a really, really nice. It was like a log cabin. It was like a two-story, and in the log cabin they had like a deer head hanging above the couch where I slept, and we watched Into the Wild. So I've never seen it before. My sister loves that movie, so I watched it, and I loved it, man. It was so good.
Yeah, it's good.
And if you guys have heard like the soundtrack for it,
Yeah, it was done by Eddie Vedder,
Dude.
of Pearl
I've been
Jam.
listening to that like nonstop.
Dude,
recently.
man, yeah, dude, it's
and
good.
it put me on like a Pearl Jam like kick as well. So I've been
I've
listening-
been on. That's crazy you say that. I
Heck
literally queued up Pearl Jam like yesterday.
Heck
and,
yeah,
like,
dude.
He gets a lot of hate, but
dude.
I like Pearl Jam.
Dude, that man rules. I've been listening to like a lot of ever since then. I've been like on like a '90s kind of grunge. Kick.
Yeah, dude. It's
So I've been
sick.
listening to like them. I've been listening to a lot of like the band Hum and Smashing Pumpkins like Siamese Dream album. I love that album. That album's way ahead of its time. But anyways, we went to in Fairbanks. They're supposed to have his actual bus. Like seems like Chris.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed like I watched a
Christopher
YouTube video. They
McCandless,
helicoptered the bus out
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
And so we went to the museum that we weren't like 50-50, they have it or they don't, see it. They didn't have it, and they're restoring it right now, and then they're going to put it in that museum in 2023, I want to say. That's when they're aiming for it. But the one that they use in the movie, we saw the one they use in the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a restaurant/brewery called 49th State Brewery that has like a few locations in Alaska. Really, really good food. Had a beer there. I think it was an IPA. It was like Alaskan Moonlight IPA.
49th Street Brewery.
Or 49th State Brewery.
49th State.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. State. I might have said Street, but State Brewery.
But they're like a chain. You said they have like a couple locations.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks like something in Alaska, yeah.
Dude, it was so good. I had and I wasn't sure what I wanted to get because normally I wasn't sure if I wanted to get wings or a burger. I ended up getting me like a pulled pork sandwich, something I don't always get at this location. So they have like in the front area, they have people like playing like cornhole, people playing darts. They had like the bus to the side, people to go take pictures in. Inside the bus, they had like pictures of like Chris and all
The movie bus, you could actually like climb in it and stuff.
I went inside of it, yeah, man.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rad.
It was really cool.
And you just watched the movie like the
I watched
day
the,
before.
I watched the
or
movie
something?
after.
Oh, it was after, so you didn't
wow.
even appreciate it. Oh man.
I mean, I knew his story and I knew everything about that, or like kind of like what he went through because I've like heard of this stuff, and I kind of want to read the book now. But it was really, really cool. Everybody was taking pictures with it, so there was like a line. There was like a line to kind of get in, and you would go in there and you'd see pictures of him like where he'd like skinned animals and stuff, and that story is really inspiring, man. And I can see why, like, if you ever wanted to get away from anything at all,
Society
at all, like, yeah, Alaska would be the place to do it. Yeah. That's what my coworker was saying. He was like, people move to Alaska because they don't want to be around a lot of city folk that are like toxic and shit.
So
And I agree with
You're
that.
saying Alaska, you don't live in a society in Alaska? Is that what you're saying?
We don't live in a society. Was that Markiplier? What was that meme? Whatever.
I'm unfamiliar.
I'm not familiar
There
with
was the
what-
meme that was like, we live in a society.
Yeah,
It's like,
we live
yeah,
in
we
a
do.
society.
But it was like a stupid meme. That's just like a joke in and of itself. It's whatever. Like gamers rise up.
No, it says like us living in a simulation. As we live in
Oh,
a society.
we do? We definitely do. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So
know if
you
I
actually did
subscribe
go
to
to
that theory.
Alaska. You're just making all this up. It was a
Dude, if this is the
simulation.
Matrix, let me stay in the Matrix.
Yeah, I want to stay plugged in. Do not unplug me.
That was cool and all. That movie did not age well, though. The Matrix movies did not age well.
Oh, Matrix.
I think we were on a job like a few years ago. You'd never seen The Matrix. And I pulled it up. We were just sitting there doing nothing. And I was like, hey, let's watch The Matrix. You're like, I've never seen it. And I was like, dude, this is like groundbreaking. When
It was
first came
for its
out.
time, yeah.
But yeah, I can understand why.
Well-
I think they're making another one. I think Keanu Reeves is like making a fourth Matrix movie.
I wouldn't doubt it because like nowadays they will do anything to like.
Yeah, why not cash in?
Why
on
not?
that?
Yeah.
Why not cash in on something that we like an OP or IP we've already done before? They're doing that all the time.
He
now.
already did Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Did y'all see that? I didn't
No, I
watch
forgot about that.
it. You were good. I think most people probably did.
But
I watched
mean,
the
like,
trailer and I
he
was just like,
he was
nah,
like such
I'll watch that.
a big. I mean, Keanu Reeves has always been a big deal for like ever, but it was a big deal for a while. Where everybody wanted Keanu Reeves to do anything, like the whole thing with like the video game. What was it, Cyber 77 or whatever, and how that like
Yeah.
crapped the bed on that one.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys? Speaking of movies, I mentioned this to Zach. Have you guys seen the previews to the new Jackass movie?
Yeah, I think so.
And normally through like
I don't know, man. Those dudes are getting old.
and that's
like,
why
come
I want.
on.
That's why I want to see
What
it.
can they do now?
Because like Johnny Knoxville and like Steve-O and like Chris Pontius and all the guys have like gray hair now,
Yeah.
and wrinkles, and they're old, and I'm like, I want to see them be stupid. And now that they're old, the guy's an odd feature in it too. I think they have like
Yeah,
guest stars.
Jasper's in it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Tyler's in it too.
Yeah, he's in. He gets shocked in the trailer.
Yeah, I want to go see it, but the one thing, of course, that like I don't know the whole story about it. Of course, there was the whole thing with Bam Margera's not in it.
Oh, is he not?
No.
He's kind of gone off the deep end anyway.
And
Yeah.
I
He's
feel,
skating a little bit, but that's about it.
every time I see anything about Bam Margera, it's either he's doing better
or he's doing way worse.
He's just
he's a
somehow-
roller coaster.
he's
That's
just-
the
and,
same
I,
way.
and I feel so bad because, and I have a friend who's always like hated Bam Margera because of how like he's like, dude, Bam Margera is just always such a piece of shit. He's always such a jerk, and why is he gotta be like that? Like you're wasting all this money that you have. And I was like, dude, it was always a mock up for TV. And he never realized how much he had. And I always feel bad whenever I see Bam Margera stuff because I'm like, I want him to do well, but stuff never goes well for him. You know, he always looks like crap.
Yeah,
And the fact that he's not in that movie, I feel like that looms because he was such a big deal for that era of kind of like prank stunt
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Like from the very beginning with Viva La Bam, like Wild Boys and Jackass and all those guys, he was always a part of it. So for him to not be in that movie, it feels like that will kind of loom over that in a weird way. But from what I've heard is
well, Ryan Dunn's death. I mean, that probably has a lot to do
Dude,
with it.
that
It
was
just like I don't
very
want to go
sad.
back to.
very sad to
doing
see.
that
Something to
anymore.
do with Jackass, like him having a contract, them wanting him to do it, but he wouldn't do it. Some kind of legal issues with that.
I haven't heard of that. I don't know.
I don't take my word for it. All I've heard is that like he something to do with he had like a mental breakdown because he was having so much stress over it. And I'm like, dude, that sucks. You're like a guy. I didn't look up to you, but you're a guy I grew up watching. Yeah, I feel bad about that man, but I do want to go see that movie because like.
I don't know.
Well, I don't think Bam ever has the best skits in the Jackass movies anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like all I ever remember of Bam is either the dildo rocket or him being scared of snakes. That's
Yes.
all I
Yeah.
remember.
I
don't
can't
re-
blame him for that. You run up with me. You run up on me with a snake. I'm gonna do the same thing.
They
bro.
locked him in the back with that giant like cobra or whatever it was.
Dude,
he's like
be
freaking out.
I would be the same way. I'd
Crazy.
clock you if you ran up to me with a snake, and then I'd cut that snake in
I
half.
would want to be friends with those dudes, man. Like,
I
you know,
wouldn't.
Steve-O's got a podcast. I mean, who doesn't have a podcast?
Yeah,
But
he's doing much better.
he was
man.
talking to Aaron McGeehee, I think is his. I forget his. his
I think I know you're
stage
talking.
name.
I think I know you're talking about. Yeah.
And they would always like kind of pick on him a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell like Steve-O like apologized to him. It was like, hey man, I'm sorry on behalf of everybody for how we treated you all
And
these
I
years.
think that it didn't help that they were always laughing and encouraging each other, and so that energy was renewing itself.
Yeah, he said it
constantly.
was like basically everybody didn't want to be the butt of the joke, so they would just pick on whoever the next guy was in hopes that they wouldn't
And
get picked
there was
on
like,
themselves.
how far can one joke go? You know,
Yeah,
before,
dude, it's like-
before it, like you become like, yeah, I agree. So
That'd be a nightmare. So if I was Bam, I'd be like, no,
Yeah, but
I'm
then, like,
done.
people
I'm done with
always
that
like-
part of my life.
people
I
are
don't
like,
do it.
but they're doing it for money, and I'm like, dude, at some point, that it's not worth that. It's never worth that.
Yeah, it's like being in a band. It's the same thing. It's just like at the end of the day, you're gonna play music, but like behind the scenes, you know, one situation can just like ruin a whole band
Yeah.
over something stupid.
One of my favorite skits was always when they had the giant punching bag. Hey there. They have the giant punching bag, and that nobody expects to get hit by the giant punching glove, and nobody expects to get hit by it. And when they get hit by it, they get sent like 4 feet. That's in like Jackass 3 or something.
Well, I do remember the big hand that they
Yeah,
had
I think it's that
slaps
one. Yeah.
I just love how like English always like cries. Like he gets hit and he's just like, why do y'all guys do this to me? Like he
Yeah.
has like all the powder in his face. I think it's when they're in the hallway.
Yeah.
And it's just like one of the inflatable tubes comes out of him and just hits him, like Eric Andre in the trailer clip, just like that.
Oh yeah, he is in that too. I forgot. They got like a whole bunch of new people. I want to go see it, but because it'd be kind of like like I said, kind of going back to like the what was it, like Bill and Ted? It's just an old idea they're gonna do to get more money again. Like, and also it's like I think it's like their idea was like it's a grand send off because after that they can't do anymore.
You say that.
Or they could just be done and just let it lie. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not stoked that they're doing it. I probably won't go see it.
Kind of been telling you guys what's been up with me. What's been up with you guys? I have not seen. I saw Tim like maybe.
Well, Tim and Zach have just been working
3 or
on
4
their
months
shop,
ago.
man. Like,
That's all
Other
we
than
do.
that,
every
It's
day.
like all we do. Yeah, we have to. Like
So
I said, it's a process, and the sooner we get the doors open and be
So,
open to the
like,
public,
because I haven't
better.
seen, like, I've only ever seen what's in the videos that you guys post on your Instagram stories. And I was showing my coworker one time. I found y'all's channel to show you guys him a video because he didn't believe me about like a small tour you guys did like a few months back. And he's from California. He's like, dude, there's no way there's places like that here in Birmingham. What? And I was like, you clearly don't know anything about too much about Birmingham. He's only been living here for about a couple years. Yeah, stuff like this. And I was like, yeah, some of my friends are doing this big thing, and they're making like their own studio for their own like company and everything. And he's like, people do that in Alabama? He's like, you hear that all the time in California, and I'm sure you do, but
That's exactly why we're doing it. We're tired of going to Atlanta and California to do all these videos. It's like do it in our own backyard.
Yeah, because this is the only time ever in Birmingham where people can actually like do what we're doing and it be successful. Because any time in Birmingham ever, there's never
it's a
been
toss-up.
a one-stop shop for like creators
yeah, it's a toss up
and a place to hang out. Like
Yeah.
that's the other thing. You're not just paying to rent the spot
Yeah.
and then get out. Like
Yeah.
it's like, hey, you can just come hang out if you want.
So like, what do you guys have in there so far? I know you have like
Oh, there's like a full blown arcade,
Tables and
like we
such.
hung a TV up on the wall, the other day, and
heck yeah,
there's TVs
and
everywhere.
like,
Full studio, full print shop,
like the snack machine.
cyclorama wall.
Yeah, Snack Machine was going crazy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we cashed that out yesterday.
Heck yeah,
It was
dude.
real good.
You ever see those videos of people who like buy those randomly, set them up in cities, and how much money they make off of them?
I see why.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's rad. We
What other plans? I mean, if you don't want to like expose your plans, because I'm just curious, what other plans do you guys have to put in there as far as like that kind of stuff? I know you guys have like a couch in there too. I want to go by at some point, but
come
Oh,
by
you're
after.
going- you're going today.
Yeah, come by
Really?
today.
It's
Yeah,
2
go check it
minutes
out.
down the road.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
right
we're
down the
going.
street.
Hell yeah!
That's cool.
I brought a couple of dollars, so I'll get me a snack.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got Pop Tarts in there. I know you love Pop Tarts.
You don't say.
Oh, and cup of noodles.
Oh yeah.
I'm going fishing tomorrow.
Do y'all really have cup noodles in there?
Pretty
I saw
excited.
your
Yeah.
post about
We would-
K1 talking about the cup noodles.
Yeah, we have cup of noodles in our fridge, and then you can go to microwave with forks. And
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's rad. What'd you say? You're going fishing tomorrow?
Yeah, my friend Austin Parker is he's got a boat. He's got like a little John boat, and he put like an electric outboard on it.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. Go ahead. I'm
And,
sorry.
we've been talking about going fishing forever, and tomorrow I'm off, and I was like, dude, we're gonna go, and so we're gonna hit it bright and early. So I'm hoping with him I can actually catch something.
yeah,
'Cause,
you're not fishing if you don't catch anything.
Dude, we have been so
You're casting.
unsuccessful. Yeah, you just don't know what we're doing. But he's
mean-
like sending me pictures all the time of like these monsters he catches and
Heck
stuff.
yeah,
So
dude. We had originally planned to we had an off day in Alaska to go fishing.
I was about to say that'd be cool to like go
We
fishing.
we
there.
planned on it because I mentioned it to my dad. Like my coworkers were like, "You going fishing in Alaska too, dude?" And I'm like, "I haven't thought about it." I mentioned it to my dad, and my dad was like, "No, we're not going fishing." Next thing I know, my dad's like, "Hey, we're going fishing in Alaska." I'm like, "Heck yeah, dude!" Turns out you need a permit. Can't go. You can't go
dang.
unless you have a permit. And I was like, "Oh, that's a Fuel TV thing? Holy crap!" Dude, there's like some blast from the past in here, man.
Yeah, dude. Fuel TV, baby. That
That
was
was
what I grew up on.
Shit, man.
That's it right there.
God. What was the name of that show where the dudes wore the suits and they had the interviews? Because I watched that every day.
The Captain and Casey show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I went back and watched that show. It's
It's-
pretty low budget. It was like they could have tried a little harder.
Yeah.
Like, it was
I mean,
so
that's
crappy.
The skateboard
It's like Eric
community for
Andre
you.
before Eric Andre.
Yeah, that's like the skateboarder community for you, though. Is that like almost the like the smaller the budget, the cooler it is. It's more street.
Yeah, it was funny, but it was almost like I don't know.
I do want to go back and watch it, but I used to watch like that, and there was the dude on Fuse TV was the rock show on Fuse TV. I can't think of his name. Steven's Untitled Rock Show, was it? Did you ever watch that show?
I
It
didn't
was pretty
see
cool. It was like a mini block of like he'd play like because MTV would never really play like metal or hardcore or punk music ever at all, and he wanted a block to where he could talk about it and play that kind of music for people, and that was kind of cool. It exposed me to a lot of like punk music at the time, exposed me to like some metal music at the time. I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but it was
Nah.
cool back in the day. It turns out he was like a giant asshole to a lot of people at that company, and that's why the show got shut down.
Dang.
Apparently.
That's a drag.
Yeah. Like there was a video of him, like a girl walks up to him with some papers saying something about like a new episode. He like knocks the papers out of her hands or something like that. And he like storms off. And it's
Okay,
like,
that guy
you were
sucks.
an actual rock star for doing that kind of shit, man.
That's crazy. So before we get cut off earlier, you said y'all were gonna go fishing, but you ended up not. for some
Yeah.
reason.
You need a permit to go fishing, which totally sucks. But I understand why, it's like one of their biggest,
just to fish off the bank or something. Or
Which, I
were y'all
mean-
gonna get a boat, or what y'all gonna do?
I'm sure you could get like a fishing tour to where like you go out with somebody and do that, and you pay to like that kind of thing. But we weren't able to find that, and we kind of assumed, which is maybe wrong of us to assume that, hey, we'll just go rent some poles, go find a spot of water,
Yeah.
fish for whatever.
say
And
you
it
did
would
it,
have been our off day. We had like one off day of just traveling, which ended up just being us going and like sightseeing and everything. So other than that, I mean, like, I wish we could have gone fishing, even if we didn't catch anything. To say you've been fishing in Alaska, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
just
Oh,
to
yeah.
say.
But I
you know.
mean, like, we saw a giant chunk of a glacier fall and hit the water, which is like, and
It's basically fishing.
it's basically fishing. But that was like something you only see in like National Geographic shit. And we like, and you don't realize how, because like what the guy was saying, he's like that giant chunk is probably about 50 times the size of your house. You don't realize how big that chunk is. That
Because you're
just
so
fell.
far,
Right.
far
And
enough
he's like,
back.
you will hear it after it's already like started to fall because it's so far away. So it starts to fall and you hear like an echo and you're like, where's that? Where's it at? And you see it.
Does it
It's
sound
loud.
like a tree falling? Is it kind of like that where you hear like
Kind of sounds, kind
and,
of, yeah.
like you hear like that break in like
Kind of,
sound
yeah.
waves?
Oh, and dude, you see off the side of mountains because they're so, you see where landslides have happened. You'll see like sides of mountains where it's like there's trees, mountain parts, like rock, and then like giant chunks of just like not there, where it's just landslides have happened everywhere. It's crazy.
Dude,
What was the Nenana
a
River?
million ways to get killed in Alaska.
We went to the Nenana River. That was a place that I went to as well, where like we on our way to Anchorage, I want to say, we stopped off the side and we found like a small cliff over the Nenana River. And I wanted to like walk down under the bridge that was over there because there was a really steep part where you can see where people go under there and spray paint and stuff. And I was like, I want to go down there and see that. And yeah, I was like, I wanted to go into this bridge that we just went over to see the Nenana River. But I was like, if I go down there, there's like a slim chance I could ever get back up. And I was like, nah. And then my dad saw another like little trail that two girls had went before us to go take their picture or whatever. A small trail that was maybe like 25, 50 feet up to this cliff. And those girls stood right on the edge of a cliff to take a selfie. And I was, no, sir. And there was like a
fall
smaller,
to their death.
yeah. And my dad was like, don't.
We're
go.
not doing that.
My dad was like, don't go that close. It's like, I'm not trying to tell your mom that you fell for the cliff and it's ruined our trip.
Dude.
Do a
But
flip.
and then later on, we went to like a little shopping center that's by the Nenana River. We managed to find a trail that goes under it. All this water that's from the Nenana River is from the glacier. It's really
wow.
cool. And so we went down there with all the rocks. And it's one of those things that you see people like stack rocks on for trails. You ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they like.
There's a
balance
lot of
the
that
houses.
over there, and we touched the water for the that's coming off the glacier. So cold, I couldn't
bet.
believe how cold that water was.
You can
during
drink
this-
that water, can't you? Don't they bottle like great glacier water and stuff?
We should have done that.
I think it's clean to drink.
But we touched it, and it didn't feel like it's so like slimy kind
Oh,
of.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can't drink that.
Well, like thick water.
Thick water.
thick water, heavy water.
Become one with the glacier.
This is what Al Gore wanted all along.
So that was cool. That was something I wanted to mention. So there's a picture of me on my Instagram above like over a cliff above the Nenana River, and then as we were looking down, people were like whitewater rafting on
Oh,
that.
that would have been fun.
That
would
would be
be
fun.
Is it that one?
No, that's on the glacier tour. Yeah.
Oh, dude, go back to that video.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild, man. That should be so cool. But you said it wasn't like super cold.
That's what I was gonna
like,
say. What's the
No,
temperature like? right
there
now?
it was cold.
Just being on the water.
Being on the water, and so I had that day. I had a long sleeve shirt, I had my flannel, and I had my North Face, and I was still pretty cold.
Really,
Dang.
dude. I got to get up to Alaska. We had a friend of ours that was an RN that worked up there. And she told us forever. She was only stationed there for like 3 years. And so we had 3 years to go. She's like, come on anytime. And we never did it.
If you ever
kick
get the
myself.
chance, man. If you ever like get the chance, like, I kind of feel like going to Alaska. 100% do it, man. Because as soon as you get there and you do all the things, and I mean, the way we did it, I kind of recommend the same thing that we did. Is just that you would kind of fly into Fairbanks, drive through Alaska, stay a few different places, and then go to get to Anchorage or maybe Seward, and then fly out to there. Because you get to see all the sites. You drive through it.
So what was your favorite place?
Probably Fairbanks, because I feel like I would love to live there. Whereas like Anchorage feels like a more industrial city, where Fairbanks feels more like countryside in a way. It feels smaller. It's about the same size, I want to say, maybe a little bit smaller than Anchorage, but it feels more at home to my like hometown. Whereas like Anchorage feels more like downtown Birmingham in a way.
Okay.
it felt so at home in a weird. Like I said, it
Did
feels
you
like the
get used
South.
to the long days?
No,
No.
no, never.
So you never slept well the whole time?
I did because I had to take something the entire time.
Really?
I would take like something my sister had to like sleep on the plane. Like almost every night, I was like, hand me one of those, and in 10 minutes I was zonked out. I watched like a lot of YouTube to help me fall asleep too, because like my parents snore really loud.
Oh man.
Oh, dude. So it was you, your sister, and your parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, Hayden just moved to Alaska, then do 24-hour streams of you walking through Alaska. Just
I could
the
do that.
Japan videos.
Yeah.
Because
I still watch that dude
get
a lot.
good video. And
Did you guys ever
backpack.
see the videos of him like doing like
Genius.
him like actually filming himself doing like Q&As? Like it's like
Who are you talking about?
Rambalak, the guy on YouTube who walks through Japan
Oh, okay.
with a GoPro.
There's a lot of people doing that, right?
Yeah, well, he's kind of like the guy
Is he
who
like
kind
a
of like
Twitch streamer or something?
no, he's just on YouTube where he'll film himself kind of like walking through areas of Japan just with a GoPro, and then like he'll upload that, and they'll be like 2 to 3 hours long.
Oh,
Sometimes.
it's just like a walking tour. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see the
I'll probably
sides,
watch some of his
and
videos.
it's just like nice ambient like shit to put in the background, and I always watch that.
When are y'all going to get over to Japan, man? I thought you were talking about doing that sometime.
This pandemic just doesn't end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. That's
that's
kinda,
true.
Yeah, that
Like
sucks.
they
And
had
also-
another like lockdown.
So we had talked about it, but my old man pointed out something that was really important that we didn't take into consideration. It's Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah,
it
that
would
would've
have
been
been cool to go
rough
during
year.
that. Probably been so busy, dude.
Oh,
It'd
yeah.
probably been like a nightmare to
That
go
didn't
and
even
try to do
occur to me.
anything.
I didn't know if y'all were going to try to plan to go like next year or the year after.
I mean,
or
it's
something.
in like it's still an idea in our
Assuming
heads
the
to
world
go.
doesn't shut back down again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see.
exactly. It's an idea that we're still like. It's not like canned at all. It's just getting the right group of people for the right amount of time to do. Like we were just originally planning just to go and do Tokyo and maybe somewhere else, but primarily
There's
just
so much to see. I think
Primarily
A week in Tokyo. Is
explore
like,
Tokyo.
Just stay there. Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody told me the population in Tokyo and the amount of stuff to do. It's like they said it's like New York City on top of New York City and then some. It's like so many people,
Oh yeah.
so many places, so many like things to do. And so that's still in the works. I'd love to go. Tim told me to go by myself,
Yeah, why not?
and I've considered it. I could do it, but like I
Do
feel
you
like
speak Japanese? I don't guess you really have to. I mean,
No.
I know they
There's-
have a lot of English and stuff.
they do have a lot of like English signs, and because of like especially for Tokyo, the bigger cities, because like
A lot of
tourism.
tourists. Yeah.
is so big there and helps with their economy so much that like a lot of their signs, a lot of people speak English, or they have staff that helps them speak, like people speak English and such. So do I want to go there? Of course. Do you know anybody who
We all do.
do you know anybody who was like, hey, do you want to go to Japan? No. Do you know anybody like that? No. But it's
Katie's brother went on a whim. They just took off and took a group of people and
yeah.
spent like a week there. You
Mhm.
know, he didn't tell us until like the day before. He said, "Oh, I'm going to Japan tomorrow," and
Bye.
they got like a tour guide and
Yeah.
stuff, and he took them to some really cool like restaurants, and they got to do some cool stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I think that like I know in like other cities, one thing I'd really want to see is like certain like shrines and stuff like that. And I don't know about how many there is in like I know in Kyoto there's a lot and other places like that, but I don't know about Tokyo because like seeing countryside as opposed to more of the city life would also be cool. I just know that like nightlife in Japan is just like the one thing I want to do so much, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, just walking around.
Drink.
Drink and hit and hit like karaoke bars and hit everything, dude. Just spend too much money on food, probably.
For sure.
No, what you should do is you should go to Japan, but only pack like 2 outfits, so that you're forced to like
Buy clothes. And stuff.
buy clothes or have like
It'll be
your-
all Asian sizes and it won't fit me.
Like I was watching Tyler the Creator's interview yesterday,
Yeah.
and he was saying like, "Yo, I'll go to London for like 2 weeks, and I'll pack 3 outfits."
Yeah.
And then so he should.
I don't have that kind of money to spend though.
Yeah.
I want to spend. I mean, I get it. The thing is, I overpacked for Alaska and we stayed there for a week, even though I did buy clothes. I bought like only a few things. I don't want to just spend all my money on things. I'm like, I need that, even when I could just get that myself. You know, I get that though. That the same thing is, it'd be Asian sizes, so I don't think it'd fit me. Like I think when Ryan and Matt from Super Mega went to Japan, I think one of them bought like a shirt thinking it was gonna fit, and it didn't because it was way too small. It was an extra large, but it was in Japanese sizes, so it kind of fit like a smaller large, and it like shrank really, and it didn't fit them.
We learned that from our when we made shorts for LCY.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because
we
mine
dealt
were like
with
a
that.
3XL, weren't they, or something like
Yeah,
that?
I wear
Yeah.
a 5X.
What?
Yeah.
In Japan, I wear a 5X. I'm
That's
not big.
big fat Americans. 5X. That's crazy.
Oh man. But yeah, for sure, I'd love to go to Japan. There's a lot of things. I'd love to go anywhere, man. Like I was talking to my dad. I was like, we were looking at like places to go that like maybe not a lot of people go for vacations in the future. And I was like, dude, going to Iceland would be cool. Y'all talked about
Iceland would be
y'all
sick.
talked to a dude who went to
Yeah,
Iceland, right?
No, Justin. He's actually hiking the AT right now. I think it's the AT, the Appalachian Trail. He's been like 6 months on trail. We're gonna have him back on once he gets done. But yes, he took an epic trip to Iceland. So anybody that's interested, check out that episode. And the way he describes it is a lot like what you're describing in Alaska, like just the epic drives and the scenery. And I feel like when he was there, it was some weird time of year where the sun never really set. It was like 2 a.m, and they went to this scenic tourist place to take pictures. And the sun's up, but it's 2 a.m, so nobody was there, so they had it to themselves.
Gosh, yeah, man.
He said it was just,
And there's like so
wild.
much history there too. It'd just be cool.
Yeah.
And I think my dad maybe in the next few years does still want to take a trip to Ireland and England. My family has always wanted to go there. That'd be cool. Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, Katie's been to Scotland, and
I had a coworker go there for his honeymoon.
they took like an epic giant family trip, like her senior year of high school.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, they still talk about that. It's crazy.
I mean, like, who wouldn't want to go there? That's also like a place with a lot of history and just a lot of gorgeous views. So
Yeah.
I'd be down.
See, there's a photo of like, what is it called? The Aurora Borealis? Is that the right way to say it? The green lights.
yeah,
I don't know if that's the same as the northern lights or if there's two different things.
I think
It's
it's might
just
be
a
the same thing
nickname
with
for the
different
same thing.
Yeah, different names. Yeah, but that'd be awesome. So there's like all kinds of Vikings and stuff from there, man.
That would be
Sky
rad.
LEDs.
God's
Sky
LEDs.
LEDs.
That's God's LEDs. Man, these are God's LEDs, man.
Yo, put on, like, rotate through all the RGB, please. Oh my gosh, that'd be wild. Imagine in life if there was like a RGB like in the sky. It just randomly went through all the lights.
This is a simulation.
I was
Tim.
gonna say try to do out a simulation now.
They just made a rain machine in like there's some. They just made.
Oh yeah, that was in Dubai.
Dubai. Yeah,
They actually-
made an actual weather machine.
They would do that in Dubai, man.
Because
They
the-
got so much money.
They,
Don't
But it don't rain hamburgers, so I ain't interested.
Spaghetti
That was
meatballs.
crazy.
Yeah.
But no, man, I saw that article about Dubai and I was like, that's BS. And then I saw
Simulation.
another article, and then I saw another article, and it's like, from what I understand, they took drones.
so it wasn't just like Buzz Media.
No.
No,
real.
it
I
was
was
like
like BuzzFeed.
different. And I was like, okay. And so I
Dang.
clicked on it and read it. And from what I understand, they took drones and they were like shocking the clouds or sending electric pulses.
Yeah, they
And it
emit all these
causes-
ions.
And
Yeah.
it causes the molecules to clump together and form clouds and rain.
We live in a society.
That's crazy.
I was gonna say, did like Jeff
insane,
Bezos
dude.
like plan this, and he's just like, I'm gonna become Iron Man and just do.
Yeah.
He probably will become
Dude.
Iron Man. I was gonna say, not maybe a week and a half. So in Anchorage, Tim, if you could probably look this up. In the 1960s, we saw where like a giant earthquake had hit, and we saw the fault line where like the earthquake had hit, and apparently that's like a fault line that goes all the way to like Chile. Like that's how big like the earthquake was. It goes through that big, and we saw where like
Just a giant canyon or something? Or
it's
just
something
a-
like that. There was a recent earthquake that happened like a week or two after we left, but there's a big one that happened in like the 1960s, and we saw where the fault line had happened, where there's a forest where it's like there's like a cliff right here, and then it goes down like 100 feet, and then there's like another forest, and it was like where that happened was where like the plates like shifted. It's crazy,
Dude.
Yeah, and it like it was insane, dude. So we saw that, and they were like, talking about like one of the roads we went on. I think that might be the road we went on for the tour up through that road. And they were telling it happened. They were like, the fault line happened like right here and shit. And then like a week and a half after we left Alaska, there was like an 8.9 like magnitude earthquake.
Oh my God.
Like it was only like the furthest south we went was Seward, and I think even where the one happened in the ocean, and even that was like 300 miles away or something. It was like several hours away from where we were, but
Still, man, those earthquakes in the ocean, that's what causes damn tidal waves and all that.
yeah, and like
Tsunamis.
I think there was like they talked about there wasn't any kind of tsunami, but there was like in certain areas further south, there was like flooding and stuff, but it was like so far off the coast to where it didn't affect many people. But if it had been closer to land, it would have been bad. And we, like when we got to Alaska, one of the first things they told us is to expect smaller earthquakes. You'll feel them, but they're not going to be that bad. To experience an earthquake, and we'd never experienced one.
Yeah, I've never experienced one.
To experience one of those things, I was like, I hope it happens, but I hope it doesn't happen. If it does, can it be like a 0.2 like magnitude so we can like shake our house?
So no mild earthquakes while you're there?
No.
No.
That would have been cool.
No bears, no earthquakes, no moose. God.
Man, we saw a giant hunk of ice. What more do you want from
Yeah,
me?
did you
And
even have
giant
fun?
man-eating crows.
Yeah, no, we didn't have. There's no fun in
There
Alaska.
was no fun, no.
There's no penguins in Alaska.
So one thing they don't tell you, there is no fun in
Yeah,
Alaska.
we just want to move there because we don't like to have fun.
That's right.
there is only society there.
Yeah,
Only society.
yeah. There is
dude.
actually no simulation there. You have to actually live in reality there.
That's the real nightmare.
Sounds epic, man. Have to take a trip. Be cool.
Yeah.
I'm getting distracted, man. I'm sorry
Right.
because I was looking at the CRT as well over there because I've been.
Dude, I'm so bummed about that thing,
Does
man.
it not work?
No, it worked.
It's all his fault too. That's the kicker.
I left it in the back of my work van, and it worked. My boss was getting rid of it and was like, "You can have it." And we had plans to kind of incorporate it into the set, and it's more front heavy, you know. And I don't know if I accelerated too fast, and it just like flipped on its face.
Oh God, dude.
And that was it. I brought it in, plugged it up, and it won't. I've tried banging on it and
Yeah,
stuff. It's toast.
Because when I was younger, living in my parents' house when I was maybe like 10, they had a CRT, and it was the CRT that had the VHS tape like player or like VCR player
Built in. or
built
something.
in. And I've been looking for one of those for a while. I have like a few VHS tapes I want to like play. I've also been looking at I was looking on eBay to buy a GameCube. And you can find good deals on GameCubes on like eBay for like that and like a game and the controllers for like decent deals. The kicker is there's an adapter for the GameCube to where you can play Game Boy games on there, right? But it costs just as much
As the GameCube.
as the GameCube, and I'm like, not worth it. I'll just emulate it on my computer, man. Not
Just
worth
wait,
it.
give it time. This is
Yeah.
a niche subject I know a lot about, but the retro game market is through the roof right now.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
And so a couple like when the pandemic first hit, the
Collectors,
the PlayStation 2s shot up.
dude. I'm
like,
telling you.
they were like $200 a piece.
Yeah, and like something that like me and Tim collect as well, and talking about like stuff that we've had when we were collecting before the pandemic hit, and now we see prices of stuff that we've collected because people would be stuck at home, looking for hobbies of stuff they used to do, stuff that like I used to buy for like super cheap on eBay just because I liked it. For collecting is now shot through the roof. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And so,
Dude, these retro TVs, man, like the one that we have over here out of sight, it's actually got like the fake wood paneling on the side.
yes, that's the dude. Yes,
And to find like another TV like that on eBay or something, I mean, even these ones like you're describing, like made in
Yeah.
the early '90s or whatever. I mean, that's $100, you know. So I was so bummed when I realized I broke it, and I was like, "Gosh,
I'd
man.
have been bummed too, man.
Dude,
Because I
could
mean,
probably sell that thing for like $200, you know, if it worked."
I mean, they do have like repair shops for them, which is like still niche. But I mean, like, would it be worth the
No,
price?
not at all. I'm sure it would
Exactly.
be like an insane
Yeah,
price. to
exactly.
get it fixed.
Because I have like old, VHS tapes of like old anime that I want to play because it would just look really cool and it'd be cool, something cool to have set up in my room. Something I was gonna mention to you because you mentioned Life to Live Records, that we talked about that as being like such a big like deal to us. I think I'd have something cool I want to bring you guys
Okay.
when it comes to like, because we talked about the band Losing It, which is he has a Losing It record up there. It was a band on Life to Live Records we loved. I have a, and this was limited to like maybe 50.
Whoa.
I have a Losing It demo cassette tape.
You are the cassette guy. You have a lot of like really cool cassettes.
Yeah, I have, and I thought about. Did you like the band Fury? I have a Fury demo
Yeah.
tape. The band The Beautiful Ones. I have a Beautiful Ones demo tape. That was a band that like blew up, then they like quit the band, and having one of their demo tapes is pretty cool. Most of my cassette tapes, that was like a niche hobby I had for like 2 or 3 years.
cassettes.
Cassette tapes, because I collected vinyl for a long time. Still have my vinyl collection. I've been kind of wanting to sell that off and only keep certain things, like the band.
Hayden's definitely the collector. Do you have any pictures of like any of your bookshelves on your Instagram?
No, but I can send them to you guys. So like, right now, it's always been like kind of hobby.
Like
of mine.
you see what we did here for the set?
Yeah.
Like Hayden just naturally has that. Like how we have it set up to look cool. Like Hayden's stuff just looks cool. Like he has
Just
the
like
eye.
rando.
Yeah, but
relics.
it's so rad.
Yeah, so
It's
on
so
my
rad.
the 3 posters I have on my wall, which I'm actually getting a new one soon. I have like just old anime posters from like the 80s. I have like one from the 90s, which is like a samurai manga called Rurouni Kenshin. Another one that's like a space, like a sci-fi called Galaxy 999, Galaxy Express 999. It's a really, really old manga. I have a poster of that. I have a Urusei Yatsura poster, which is from the 80s as well. And these are just a very niche, but you can't like really find those. And they're authentic too.
And they're
like
crazy expensive
They're
too.
Japanese like posters too.
Like you paid like
I didn't pay that much for them. I found a seller. I'm not going to reveal my sources who sells them for not that expensive.
okay,
So,
but they're legit.
Yeah, they're legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
They're not
just saw your Toonami shirt, by the way. That was
like, I'm a big
that was
nerd.
cool. That's rad.
But like one of the things I've been collecting for like the past, and it really took off during the pandemic was like the manga community. So I've been collecting manga for like 3 or 4 years or since I've been living with Tim.
Didn't the manga prices go up too now?
Yeah, manga prices have exploded. I have that one. Yeah, I have that one. That was the one that I spent too much on.
Yeah, that
How
one's
mu-
like
how much did you
What
spend?
is this?
super
What am I looking
rare.
at? I'm
It's
not
a-
super into.
So this
Anime.
is a anime from 1995 called Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's pretty infamous. It's one of the most like celebrated series of all
Is it still
time.
your favorite
really?
anime?
Yeah, it's still my favorite. It's not my favorite manga anymore, but it's my favorite anime though.
So what do you think for
$154 for that poster. Dang.
How much did you spend?
Well, that's cheap, ain't it?
Anyways, so the series has infamously ended, but that's the final movie, which is the quote unquote true ending of the series, and it's an incredible movie. So I have that. I think I paid $175 for it at the time.
So it holds up. It's a piece of paper holds up. For,
But then the other one that I have that also goes for $200, I scored on an auction for $30.
Whoa.
let me. Is it
That
this,
one.
That one right
That
there.
one, yeah, I scored for $30. It goes. It's a little bit less, but
This
and
one has a crease in it.
that
Yeah.
one, mine's in much better condition. Yeah. So I have that one too, and that's just a little like niche stuff that I collect. I'm kind of into, but
I'll throw us some swag, some stuff you don't want.
I was gonna say
give
I
us some
have
stuff
like
to
a
put up.
few cassette tapes. I have Life to Live cassette tapes. I was like, I could bring you 2 or 3 really cool ones.
Find a good place for them.
I told our buddy my buddy Jay. He's also really big into Life to Live. I told him specifically I would give him 2 cassette tapes of the bands from Florida that he loved. That was like Bad Habits and Cold Hearted.
Oh, let's go.
I have both of those cassette tapes. It's okay. Both those cassette tapes, and I was like, I didn't tell him I was going to send them to him. I was like, bro,
Well, I had a cold hearted.
yeah, poster.
Yeah, right here. I got a cold hearted poster.
Heck
right
yeah,
here.
that was the band back in the day, man. They were so good. And that the guy who wrote all their music, he went on to be in like 10 different bands and shit. So
They all did that. They would make the best band. Everybody would love them. They'd do one tour and then they'd split up, and then start another band
with the same people, but
with the same people.
but be different.
Yeah.
We're gonna do something else. Yeah, being advanced tough.
But yeah, speaking of like the manga community, because like it really exploded in like in 2020. Like manga sales in 2020 in the United States were the highest they've ever been. Resale on currently printing manga that I read online and I read physically. I collect it. I can, like I said, I can send you guys pictures of like my book. I have 2 bookshelves
I
full of
thought
it.
you had pictures on your Instagram.
I probably should post them, but I haven't yet. I feel like people would be like, "Look at this nerd."
It's like a serious like.
I don't even know like how many. Like, I have so many volumes it doesn't fit on my my bookshelves. So there you go. One volume that I have that or 3 volumes that I have that Tim also has is out of print. He sold for like $100. 3 volumes, and we probably bought these for like less than $30.
Yeah, we bought them for what the price on the back of them were, which
Less
is
than $30.
$11.
And you sold them for $100 a piece.
I got $120.
Jeez.
And
And
they
I
were
have the
just
same
sitting
ones.
on my shelf, and like I don't care about my manga anymore. But out of all my manga, that one was just like,
But
Poser.
you just
why would I not sell it?
Yeah, yeah, I got
don't
you.
need
you just watch the market. Like the market's high now,
Yeah, man.
sell it, and then if you're not like attached to it, just buy it again.
I'm
when
trying
it-
to sell
when it
some of my
drops.
stuff because like there's certain series that I've read that I was like, this is really good. I want to make room for other stuff that I like as well because I'm kind of running out of room. like I said, there's like currently printing series right now that are ongoing that are not finished. Like they're still printing in Japan. The English versions of those are sold out online everywhere. There's this one manga I'm reading. It's a samurai manga. Volume 2 is retails $10. Somebody's selling it on eBay for $120. It's sold out. I know. You think
that's
you think
crazy.
I'm playing? There's a series called Chainsaw Man, which is like in high.
Chainsaw Man.
Dude, Chainsaw Man rules. You're hearing it first. Chainsaw Man is the shit.
I've never heard of that.
Dude, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
A guy who has a chainsaw for a head and chainsaw for arms, but it's like it's that's what he looks like, but it's way more than that. So Doom masks.
I'm about to show you what I was going to say. You can continue.
Gotcha. So I somehow managed to luck out and like get these at retail price before people started like freaking out about this series because it's getting like
Chainsaw Man.
yeah, it's getting like a TV show, like an anime. People are selling one single volume of these for like $50 a pop, which makes no sense. And this series is like brand spanking new. Like I can understand there's series that are done they no longer print anymore that people really want to buy. That would merit that value that you can't find anymore unless it's like super old that are selling for those prices. But this is brand new that's getting printed today.
Right, yeah.
It should only be retail, but because they're all sold out online, scalpers on eBay will shoot up the price like crazy. And it's the fear of missing out thing.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
because the community exploded because people were at home not doing anything. They needed like to hobbies and such.
Learn
Quit doing
how
that.
to read.
Stop doing that. Yeah.
Dude, hey, now
Crushes it more.
I just saw this mask, but I might buy that. I might buy
That's
this.
sick.
Look at the spikes on the side, dude. I've
That's
never
like-
seen that one.
That's like if
That's so dope.
Doom
MF
mask.
Doom was like in a black metal band or something.
If he was in
like-
Star Wars,
I think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Spend, I think I'm gonna spend $60 after the podcast and buy that. That is so dope.
Dude.
I still can't find the one that I'm trying to show. What the fuck is that?
Great. It's great value Doom. That's
I don't know
funny.
whoever spends money on that. That's funny.
You know somebody has. Get the gold. Yeah, that one's cool.
I should have just like a.
That's like a
collection.
little peek into the manga community. Like right now, it's if you can't afford to buy physical volumes, and I know a lot of people want to, it's cool to have them. I have a lot, but like just hold off until these things are. You will have them. Like
Yeah.
you just gotta be patient.
All right, so now is not the good time to start my manga collection, I guess.
oh my god.
Yeah. So look at this. So I have Zach's
Those are
face. I gotta
cool.
show Zach's face on the stream.
Those are
so
really cool.
Zach now knows.
Oh my god.
Do you have those?
He
I
has
have 8 of them.
he has 8.
I have 8 of these.
What is this?
I bought them. You could buy so Doom died October 30th of last year. October 29th, he dropped these masks,
Yeah.
and you could buy all 4 of them for $100.
So Tim bought them
Is
because
this an actual? So what am I looking at? This is a mask.
Yeah, they're like paper mache. They're
Paper
like it's like a
mache,
paper plate with a string on it.
right.
Okay.
They're just like
But they're collectibles.
Yeah.
So they're like this much
And-
now.
And MF Doom has like a cult following, even before like he had passed. he had
So
a cult
for those of
following.
it that aren't watching the episode that we'll post on YouTube,
oh yeah, sorry.
these masks that we're looking at on eBay are going for like there's 4 for $550.
Yeah.
And you're saying you got 8 of them?
So I have 8 of them because
Do you guys sell those
because
things, man?
he dropped them and I bought them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And Sage got the same email and she was like, "Oh, that'd be a perfect
That's right.
that'd be a perfect Christmas gift."
Because you had told me about that.
So I got 8 of them in the same day.
You told me about
That's
that.
crazy.
No, we've got 4 of them at the
So
studio
Sage,
now.
if you watch the episode,
Dude,
which
frame them, man, or sell them.
No,
I would keep
No,
them.
they're in the studio.
yeah.
Oh, you've
In
already
the
got them.
recording studio, they're all sitting on top of the studio.
And like those are just cool to freaking look at, dude. That art is awesome.
That is cool.
And like if you knew anything about Doom beforehand, he had a cult following. He was like a really highly.
How did he die?
We don't know, which
Yeah.
is it better. It's incredible that we don't know how MF Doom died
Yeah.
because his whole life's a mystery.
Was like
Yeah.
he was like kind of like
It's the point of the mask.
He wore the mask. He was a mysterious
You don't
guy.
know what he looked like when he died.
Yeah. So, R.I.P. Doom.
He would literally walk around London with his mask on.
That's the kind of guy he was, man. He was the villain.
The villain.
Well,
That's
dude,
crazy.
epic. I feel like I've learned a lot. Thanks for coming to hang out, man.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having
bro.
me.
And telling us all about
Next
Alaska and
time
stuff.
you guys have me over, not even just to be on, I don't have to be on. I'll bring you guys a couple cool things.
No,
So
we'll
I
have you
wish
back on.
I had now. I'll bring you guys a couple cassette tapes and maybe a volume of manga.
Sweet, dude.
That'd be rad.
We'll set it up.
It's a little bit of the crap I'm into. So
Cool.
All right,
All
bro.
right, man.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Take it easy.